Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 456 at scavengerlife.com. 456.
Welcome to love in the time of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
This is a podcast about eBay, about two people that sell on eBay, two people that make a living on eBay, two people that depend on eBay, two people that hate eBay.
Yeah, love it.
So, everyone in the States is in different states of lockdown, of social distancing, of isolation,
Yes.
Hopefully everyone's doing okay. We had our first confirmed case of the virus actually in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Down the street from us, this retired gentleman who had to go to the hospital, which made me worried. I was like, oh no, are we going to see a spread? Because in our county, we haven't really seen, there's been no other confirmed cases.
No one's, yeah.
But several days later, we know people who work around the county, and there still isn't there's no other cases, so that's
right.
Good. But I know in other urban areas, it's spreading.
Yeah.
So hopefully, again, everyone's okay.
Now, the person who is in our neighborhood does go to the city a lot, so, that's what's a little bit confusing is when people are like, oh, there's a case here, but there are no other cases.
Right.
Obviously testing is not widespread, so there could be other cases.
And we have a lot of people that have second homes in our county, so their lives are kind of in the urban area, and then they have little homes out here. But in our county, though, there's not a lockdown, but, schools and churches are closed.
Restaurants are closed.
But most stores are still open, although everyone's doing the social distancing. And our Walmart has pretty much everything.
We've been okay, like finding stuff when we need to go, which is rare. We try not to go, but...
Right. But sometimes you gotta get something. Okay, our local auctions, we were talking about that. They... instead of doing it in person, one particular is going online, and actually I bought some stuff at the auction online, and then they had a thing where you pulled up into the back of their building,
right,
and then you gave them your sheet of paper of what you bought, and then they brought it out to you and put it in the back of the car.
So they're still working. It's not like they're shut down, which is kind of amazing because most businesses are shut down, but it sounds like this particular auction house, I think it's run by one big family.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like...
I would say most auction houses that are still in existence are family run. They're like a family run business. That's why they're so cool. And they have like a person, each has their own little personality to them.
Yeah.
They have their reputation, because really auction houses can, if you get a reputation like
no one will go
pulling stuff out of boxes or selling stuff. Or
we've seen auctions go down because of that,
But it was good. It was good. I think that they were still doing it because, again, we're not in an area where like it's widespread panic. So I think they're being smart.
Well, it helped us too because we needed to source some stuff. So we were like, well, if we can do it this way where you're not in an auction standing, shoulder to shoulder with people. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
And, our daily life isn't that much different because we always work from home anyway.
Yeah.
It's almost just like we shouldn't and can't really go out into the world anyway. So it's kind of like having all these snow days,
Yeah.
It's like,
it's scary. It's not like fun times, we took a walk in the neighborhood and like, you say hi to your neighbor and you're like, okay, don't get too close. Don't get too close.
Yeah.
We sold something on Facebook yesterday and you had to be kind of like...
Well, I was surprised by that. We sold like an old window we pulled out of a building. And, I was surprised that anyone would buy it. And so I actually set it outside, propped up against my truck in the driveway, and then put like a little plastic container right next to it. And when the people showed up, I was like on the porch and we were just kind of talking. They checked it out and I said, put the cash in the plastic box.
Yep.
And they were like, okay, cool. And then I took the plastic box with gloves on and put it like in a back building. So give it several days.
We're just going to let it sit there, basically. Take the $30 and like let it sit there.
Yeah. We're
I think that's smart though, because really like the more caution you can take with every little thing is helpful. It's like we have enough food not to go to the grocery store, but I had to go pick up a prescription, and I'm like, well, we might as well get what we need while we're there. But if we don't have to, like, let's really just not. Yeah. Let's not go out.
Yeah. It seems, I think I kind of forget sometimes, we're not supposed to be doing anything. And then, it goes back and forth. I think everyone's just trying to figure out how long this is going to last, how serious it is, all those things.
It's serious. I'll tell you that. Okay. It's just serious. Yeah. And it's good to...
No, I mean, I agree. I'm just saying, I feel like in the States, there's different levels of awareness of it. Yeah. Like, I talk to people in our neighborhood when we walk around, and they're like, oh, yeah, someone says that maybe there's some people dying. I'm like, whatever. I mean, it's like, if it's not affecting them specifically, so... Yeah. Anyway, that's more political, I guess, than anything. Yeah. Let's talk about eBay. No eBay phone support.
No eBay phone support. Apparently, it's email only.
Which is good because, you don't want eBay employees to be crammed into small rooms with
into telephones. Call centers, yeah. So, also, there is eBay for Business on Facebook. So, if you are a seller, you can message them there, which I did this week.
And people have been telling us about this eBay for Facebook Business thing for a long time. They're like, it's actually great. And we were like, we hate Facebook. But you actually started getting into Facebook in the past 3 months.
Well, when you say getting into...
You're totally into it.
I have an account for our rentals. Basically, here's why. This is like ridiculous. But so Instagram is owned by Facebook, and they now allow you through Facebook to post on Instagram and schedule postings. I've been wanting to do scheduled postings forever, but it was always third-party software. You had to pay for it. But then I read somewhere that, if you sign in if you link your accounts, and you can use this like social media tool on Facebook. So I started doing that. And then I thought, I can actually sell stuff on Marketplace too, which is something that I've been wanting to do. So I'm like, now Facebook has become... Obviously, for a long time, it's been a behemoth, and you could avoid it for a long time, but now as a seller and a business, I'm like, okay, well, now I have to use it. So now I'm like, okay, let me try messaging eBay for Business for this specific question. Sometimes it takes them 8, 10, 12, 15, 24 hours to get back to you. But the cool thing is, it's like you've made a queue. You're like, I have this question, someone will get to it. I'm not sitting on hold, whatever. So now, anytime I have a question for any company, I had a question for Comcast. I had to cancel some flights on United. I just went on Facebook. It's like literally the best thing.
I wonder when that is going to stop being a useful tool, because if everyone just starts doing that, they'll get overloaded too. I feel like that's just always what seems to happen.
Although what's funny too is I feel like there's enough people that know about it, and right now, most all call centers are shut down, unless people are doing call centers from home, which a lot of companies like Southwest does that. Now is when you think they're going to get, a barrage of people. But I've gotten quick responses from all people.
And we'll talk about that real quick about the eBay, how we resolved, I guess, a problem through the eBay Facebook. But they did it didn't feel like it was just like someone who was reading from a script. It felt like someone that really knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, they actually looked up the information and got back to me, which was so helpful.
But we just want to put that out there. If someone hasn't tried that, you're not going to be able to call anymore.
Can't call in. So through their email, I don't know if their email is on the website somewhere. There's a merchant for Anchor support. There's like a specific email that you would email. So
eBay, some companies are like trying to help their customers, and we are their customers, the sellers. So they're doing a couple things. They said they're postponing store fees for a month if you call.
So postponing, does that... Okay,
right. Yeah. So it says, if you are an eBay store subscriber and could use help with your payments. Please submit your request by Friday, April 10th, 11:59 PST.
Right.
We will review your request and update your status on the submission page within 3 days. So it's not a guaranteed automatic
They're going
to
check.
If your request is approved, 50% of the covered fees on your current invoice will be deferred until the next billing cycle, and the remaining 50% will be due on the subsequent billing cycle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, it's something, I guess, and I guess there might be sellers out there that are like,
they've got to defer.
Maybe that's going to help them. But to me, deferment doesn't help. Because if I can't afford, let's say, $100 this month, next month I'm not going to be able to afford $200.
Because I didn't make any money this month.
Or, I mean, it all starts piling up. It's like, it's with rent. I mean, people need like rent forgiveness.
It's
not like we'll just, instead of paying $1,000 this month, just pay $2,000 next month. It just starts building up on itself. But that's just my opinion.
Well, just a side note, there are some companies that we deal with and that other people deal with that are waiving fees. Square waived a bunch of fees. They waived payroll fees and a bunch of other fees that I didn't read through all of them because I don't have those, but it's companies like that are like, we're not making you pay for April. Yeah. And I've heard other small businesses say, my landlord actually waived my rent this month.
I mean,
which is huge.
I read this article where some guy was like, the way a company reacts during this virus will cement their reputation for the next decade. Because,
exactly.
If you're a company and you're willing to take a hit and help your customers, they're going to remember that. If you just ignore them or price gouge them or, are not friendly in this situation, you're going to lose customers. So, anyway, it's not a bad thing from eBay, but it doesn't. We're going to pay our fees because
we're just going to pay our fees regular because I just need to pay.
I will say with PayPal Working Capital, that system where they give you a loan based on your sales. Yeah. They didn't forgive anything, and I guess they kind of deferred it too. But it's not like we have to pay double next month.
Right. They paused it.
Yeah, they just said they're pausing it. So instead of it taking a year, it's going to take a year and 3 months.
Right.
So that's very cool.
That was actually helpful because that means that because they take 30% of our sales every month, and to have that extra 30% is so helpful right now. So if we can move it a month or 2 or 3, depending, I mean, it might call back after a month.
So they only did it for a month,
It's 30 days, but there are several other people on the subreddit, the eBay subreddit, flipping subreddit, whatever. And they were like, I'm going to call back and I'm actually going to ask for 90 days. Yeah. So who knows?
The other thing eBay did was they gave 50,000 free
listings to people
till sometime in April. So, which is cool, but again, to me, it's just 50, like it's a really low bar. It's just so instead of you paying 10 cents, 20 cents a quarter to put something up, and
if you don't have a store,
I mean 50,000, like they might as well make it 1 million.
Yeah,
it's just
I don't know what that was.
I don't know if it's aimed specifically at like big sellers that are on Amazon. And Amazon's not accepting new FBA shipments, so they're trying to like pull those people back.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So,
and they're like, "Here's a tool to cross post from Amazon."
Yeah. Okay. So those are the things that eBay is.
They didn't say that.
Trying to throw out.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what our thing with that eBay Facebook.
This is what I was
business help was eBay Send. eBay Send is. It's unclear to me if eBay Send is going to replace global shipping program, but right now it's a parallel program.
Yeah.
You ship it still to like a warehouse.
Yeah.
And then they repackage it and then it gets shipped through DHL.
Yep, it's DHL. It's not Pitney Bowes. Yeah. It's DHL.
And I'm going to set the problem up, and then I'll let you take it from there. And the problem we were seeing is that DHL was not saying if items were being delivered on eBay.
Right.
So like we had, and so that can be a problem because if a buyer is in Belgium and is like, I didn't get, it's my item, and DHL is not completing the transaction,
then it's on me.
And that's why we loved Global Shipping Program, because we just had to get it to the Kentucky warehouse, and then eBay was responsible from there. So Ryan had a question.
Right. So here's what happened to me. This is a 2-tiered eBay send issue. Someone in the UK whose item said delivered claimed it wasn't delivered. How am I going to do anything about that? They opened a case, item not delivered. I put the tracking in. It's an ESUS number. It's a custom DHL number. I put that in. eBay was like, great, case closed. This got delivered. Next day, they reopen the case. They refund the buyer with my money. It came out of
including
our PayPal
shipping
account. Everything. Yeah. It's like $50 for like a t-shirt. And so I'm like, I can't call. I'm going to message. I did the email, but I was also like, I'm going to try the Facebook thing. I'm going to see what happens. And in that time, actually, that it was the email support that appealed the case and refunded me. But my question also was like, why did that happen? Why, like, at what point was some rep like, oh, this got marked delivered, let's refund the buyer? You're like, whoa. Who did that? I didn't get an answer for that. But my other question was, I went through all my eBay send items to check tracking. Most of them, I would say 90% of them were delivered, were either in transit still or marked as delivered. I noticed that one was still, that said, there were 2 that said attempted delivery. This is 2 different countries. But I had received feedback from those people being like, great item. So you're like, they got this and it doesn't say it was delivered. So I messaged them. I'm like, here's these tracking numbers. At what point is DHL going to say it's delivered? And I took that custom, it's an ESUS number, threw it on DHL. They don't recognize that number. From what I could see. Right. They didn't recognize it from like the homepage tracking.
And just to be clear, so far, other than that one issue, we haven't had any other buyer complaints, but we saw the nightmare of all it takes is a buyer to be like, the tracking says it didn't get to me. I'm telling you it didn't get to me. You can't prove it anyway. Right. You got to refund me for everything.
Anyway, I messaged them and they said they had a way.
In Facebook, right?
Yeah, I messaged them on Facebook and they were like, well, check this link. And it was a really specific DHL link that actually did see the tracking. But when I tried to go back and like just go on DHL.com and put that tracking in, it just gave me an error. It did not see that message. Now, what the rep said was, in the future, say that person in Belgium, it was a person in Belgium, and it said attempted delivery like, in February, no other details. She said, I checked DHL and it says delivered. And I said, well, when is eBay's system going to reflect that? She said, if this buyer opens a case, they will check DHL's website.
Got it. But there's no way for us as a buyer to check that.
I Googled DHL tracking because I was like, I wonder if there's like a website called Package Tracker, but then there's a couple other. There was one called Aftership, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, aftership.com.
Right. So when I put that custom number in Aftership, it's aftership.com, and up top there's couriers, and that will give you a list of couriers, and you put the tracking number, you like pick DHL. That gave me a complete list, and it said delivered. So you would be able to like take a screenshot and put that on the case, or like link to it and put it on the case.
But that's through some third party system. The bottom line is eBay and DHL do not seem to be communicating
on every.
Well, And so I don't know.
So that's a problem.
That's really the end of the story, is just that the eBay Facebook lady said we would be able to check it.
Right.
And it would be okay. But they didn't say anything about when eBay and DHL will communicate better. So
so that was a little disconcerting.
And she did confirm that with the eBay Send, it is not like the global shipping program, where if it is not delivered or there's no confirmation of it, us as a seller, we're responsible, unlike in global shipping.
Right. Well, so I actually need to get clarification for that. If I get it to the DHL center, and like the one closest to us is in New Jersey, it's in New York or New Jersey, I'm like, shouldn't that count? You're like, I got it there.
I thought she said no.
She wasn't clear on that, actually.
Okay.
So I don't know. I need to get clarification on that. But it worried me that a buyer was able to have a delivered status and get their money back.
But then you fought it, and then
it reversed. But at first I was like, this is crazy.
But that is seemingly kind of typical of eBay. It's just like whoever calls gets what they want, and so it just keeps flip-flopping. So I don't know. Maybe the buyer got to keep their money too. Who knows?
I bet they did.
Okay, let's go to the next thing. My Cottage, who is a user on our forum, it's a seller. She says that there's a new box size that you can buy from eBay if you have the little coupons with your subscription. And it is a 15-inch by 10-inch by 6-inch.
15 by 10 by 6?
Which means nothing to me.
That's a weird... I mean, 6 is pretty shallow. No, that's a pretty good... That's an interesting size.
Some people seemed excited by it.
I need to, like, get my...
Are you not excited by that?
Not really. I like the 12 by 12 by 12. Yeah. I use that all the... I've been using that a lot lately.
So it's this size.
Oh, that is pretty good, actually. That is actually a good size.
Like a big pair of shoes, maybe, or something?
I would use that. I'd probably get some for next... I think the next quarter is April 1st, so it's just in a couple days.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare for eBay to have, like, new stuff. It doesn't seem like it happens that often. And they take really good box sizes away all the time, which is annoying. You're like, oh, I loved that box size. That was annoying. Actually, I think they took the 12 by 12 by 12 away. I don't know. I have to double check that.
I wonder if they just run out of them or something.
They might, but you're like, don't you have someone manufacturing these? I don't know.
So we buy quite a bit of that. I mean, we always get the full amount.
I get as much as I can,
And we have these shelves in our storage with above. They're like stacked up with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Are you eating into that often? Okay.
There's your answer, yes.
Okay, good. I'm excited by that.
Yes, I do. I mean, I try to use that stuff as much as possible. Like if I have a recycled box, I'll use that first. But like now we haven't been sourcing recycled boxes because of the craziness. So those are really coming in handy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had a question here from a user on a forum, Ryan Hudson.
That's me.
And so we have a helper that takes pictures for us normally, and she comes to our office and takes pictures in our office. So we're trying to set up a system where we could give her a bin of stuff and she could take pictures at home. Right. And so we're like, well, this is a perfect time to experiment with this new thing that eBay has, where on your eBay account you can create like a helper account, where they can just get certain access to the account,
very limited access
from some other place. So we're like, how's this going to work? So Ryan Hudson says, I just got my helper to sign into my account on her laptop just to see drafts, which is great. However, we see no way for her to sign onto her account through the phone and upload photos there. Is anyone else doing this system for a helper through a mobile?
Yeah, and the answer is...
What's the answer to Ryan?
The answer is no, because you can't do it on mobile, which makes zero sense. Zero cents.
So our helper can log on to her laptop.
Right.
And she has access, just drafts access.
Yep.
And so she could take pictures on her phone and then Dropbox them to her computer. Upload them there.
Which she said she could do.
But if she's logged into her own account on her phone, there's no way to access that helper account. My theory is, or it's a hypothesis, is that the mobile app is made by a different team than the dashboard, the online computer
the desktop
dashboard.
Stuff.
So the dashboard laptop people have figured it out, but the phone people haven't.
It's just crazy because you're like, I feel like most people's workflows include the phone.
Right.
If not just the phone. So you're like, if you have a helper who wants to help you through the phone or an iPad or whatever, this is you can't do it.
Although we do know that there have been eBay sellers who we know who have been doing this for a long, long time. They meet, these people in a parking lot, give them a couple bins of like clothes. The people go home, the helpers, and they take pictures, and then they come back to the parking lot and they give them like an SD card, and then get more. But then that's more work for the seller, because then the seller has to take all the photos, create
the listing,
everything. Where we're trying to get it to where she can just make a draft,
right?
Pop in the photos, write the titles, item descriptions, and all we have to do is just go through and price it and just check it and then publish.
I think that because she has a phone where she said she can like airdrop to her laptop, that, she do 10 things at a time, airdrop those, do the drafts, go back. I think that would be okay.
And she seemed willing to do that too.
Yeah. So I think that would be fine. I also have an iPhone 6 that I could just give her while she's it's signed in. So her and I were having also trouble staying signed in on my laptop here. So it's partly good that she'd be able to just sign into her own account, like she knows.
And why had it been not?
Because I was signed out of Chrome. Chrome wasn't saving my password because it was like a guest account. So anytime, it would be like every couple of days, it would be like, you need to re-sign into eBay, but it wouldn't save my password like it used to. So I think I fixed that. But
So I think this week is a week ago, we were a little bit worried about interacting with people because we're afraid of the zombie apocalypse. I think now I feel a little bit better. So
I think I could give her a bin.
Yeah, let's meet her. We'll give her a bin. We'll drop it off at her apartment or something.
And when we say meet her, we mean 6 foot distance.
Yeah, we'll give her a bin.
Yeah.
And let's just, and she's got like a brand new phone.
She's got a nicer phone than I have. So I'm like, your photos are going to look great.
It's a what, 11?
Or an X. She's like, it's a brand, like she got it as a present.
Wow. So why don't we, and she's pretty, savvy. Let's see if she can Dropbox it.
She can do
because I think the whole point is not to me, the experiment is a helper should not have complete access to our store.
Right.
And so even on her phone. So if you gave her our iPhone 6, she'd be logged into our account and have total access, So let's see how that works.
I think we should try it. Yeah.
Okay, a couple other things for eBay. Inventory progress.
Lots of inventory progress due to Jay being super annoying.
If one good thing comes out of this coronavirus is that we are going to inventory our whole 8,000 item plus store. We're doing one shelf at a time.
Now, our helper did most of the bins.
Right.
And then the first week we were in lockdown, I did a lot of bins too. But we have been doing the shelves of ceramics and glass, which seems kind of like a nightmare, but if you do it shelf by shelf, it hasn't been bad.
There was one day where Orion said, "This is my literal."
She's like, me. I was like, I am literally in a nightmare right now because there were so many things. It was like everything is called Japanese stoneware, and I'm like, oh, there's literally 100 things. I have to look
the good thing
through.
is though, it's finite. Even if it doesn't seem like it's one shelf. I know it seems like there's a million little doodads, but really it's probably about 120.
I mean, max. Yeah.
And that there's also, there's all these plates, but actually it's like a stack of plates.
It's like the same plate.
So we actually, this week, if we did one shelf every day, we'll kind of be done this time next podcast.
So what happens is when I go to pull stuff, if stuff doesn't have an inventory number, that's weird at this point. I'm like, wow, that one, man, we haven't gotten to that yet? That's crazy.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is QuickBooks. We were thinking about moving to QuickBooks, like pulling the trigger. We're asking people right here on this podcast if anyone's had experience. We've had several people email us. I'm going to answer people. I swear, we've just been thinking about how we're going to approach this. Like everything we do, everything's slow, but then when we get to it, we actually do it.
Yeah.
But it seems like someone was telling us that Amanda actually was saying that the cheaper version doesn't give you access to PayPal as well. It's just like one big gross amount. And she says if you get like the $30 to $40 a month, that's when you get the whole breakdown.
Like you can.
So that's something I wanted to talk to that we need to talk about. What kind of info do you need from PayPal?
It's interesting because like with PayPal, if they gave me like a monthly number, sales, fees, shipping, I wouldn't care. I'd just be like, great. I don't need every single transaction. These are refunds, you know?
Right. But I guess the question is PayPal going to know how to categorize everything? Like what happens, question. We're buying stuff at Walmart on our card.
Right.
Does it know?
No, you're right. You're right. That's a good point because I use my card, my debit card a lot. No, it should... Yeah.
So Amanda, we'll be emailing you, and we'd love to talk a bit more about, the details of that.
It's funny, like being in quarantine or whatever, or like lockdown, because you think, oh my God, I'm gonna like so much stuff is gonna get done, and it's like all of a sudden we have like so many things to do. I'm like, oh, I need to do that, and I have like all like we always have lists, but now you have like a concentrated list of stuff you can only do when you're at home. And I'm like, this list keeps growing and growing.
Yeah,
like doing QuickBooks, I'm like, I don't have time.
Like you were doing all this workout in our gardens.
Yesterday was
so
awesome.
Nice.
It was so beautiful out. Well, it's funny because I thought if this hadn't happened, I would not be making time to do this at all. Yeah. I was like doing all this yard work, and now our yard looks all nice and neat and ready for the spring. I'm like, wow, this is what normal people do.
I have our garden planted. Things are growing.
Yeah, like we literally planted actual food in the... Well, we do sometimes, but not like huge.
Okay, let's talk about our numbers for the week. So, again, it was, a pretty decent week. We sold 43 items for $1,650, which is, I mean...
That's like an okay week.
Yeah, I mean...
No, I mean, every morning I wake up and there are the weirdest sales. I'm like...
Yeah, I mean, 43 items is like 6 items a day. And... a lot of it was fairly high dollar, and high dollar for us is like over $50,
Right. There were, look, and I know people are dealing with this, there were people who accepted offers, made offers, and didn't pay. Some of it was high dollar.
So 2 people haven't paid yet.
Yeah.
But one has been communicating. I think they will pay. The other person, doubtful. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's good. And really, like, that's not any different from what it was back in December before, anyone knew that a global pandemic was coming. So, for us, it's not zero. So that's good.
No, I mean, that's huge. That's really...
so a couple of things we sold was like, we sold like a vintage vase for $120.
Yeah, you're like, what?
Awesome.
Great.
Like... people were talking about a week ago and continue to talk about puzzles. We did
sell a puzzle.
We don't really have a lot of puzzles, but I guess we had one.
We had one and it sold.
So for $23.
It's funny. A lot of like homeschool booklet or educational booklets and books have been selling, which makes total sense because every single kid in the United States is at home, which is insane for the rest of the year. So those kinds of things have been great. Art project things have sold, like art supplies.
Yeah, we don't have kids, but so I guess imagine that. So they'll be home April, May, June, July, August. So
oh my God, till like September. Well, that's true.
People can
Isn't that amazing? It's crazy.
But that is concerning because some people kids need to be in school because
they need to work.
Childcare because people need to work. They don't have the luxury to work from home. So hope people are dealing with that okay. We sold a backpack for $50.
Yep.
We sold like this tapestry blanket for $100. I mean, $100.
Yeah, I mean,
a book.
Some stuff has been like housewares and cooking stuff because people are, stuck at home.
I mean, I don't know. People are trying. I don't know. People are trying to come up with like, someone bought this specifically because they're at home. I just think people are just buying random, buying a sports coat, and I'm just kind of eyeballing stuff like a belt buckle,
it's
like
so weird.
A bike tire,
A bike tire.
I just think people are just buying the stuff that they just need.
Yeah. I mean, those sales are normal sales for us. We're like, that's what we would sell in a week.
Right.
So
it's good.
I'm very, very happy.
And they just announced, I guess the government's going to give out $1,200 to everybody.
Yep. There should be unemployment happening and the bill included for people who are self-employed.
Right.
So if your numbers are hurting or if your business has gone away because of this, you will be eligible.
There's such a giant question mark here. So this is something we talked about in the its forum. There's something about with unemployment that this is the first time unemployment will be available to people who are gig employees
and freelancers,
workers and freelancers, and it's unclear what that means.
Like, how do you prove that?
The president just signed the bill, so there's no actual process yet.
Yeah.
But what does that mean? I mean, so we had a couple of contract jobs that we don't have right now.
Yeah.
Does that mean we can get some money? I mean,
right.
We sell things on eBay if our sales are lower than a year ago. I mean, what's
the metric?
Yeah.
How do you measure
and
it?
Nobody knows.
Some of those contracts did go away because it was an event we were doing, and we don't know when it's rescheduled, if it's rescheduled.
Because that's the thing with unemployment. It's only for people that have a W-2 job.
Right.
So you're either employed and getting paid, or you're not employed and you're not being paid. So it's an on-off thing. With all those of us who have gig jobs or freelancers or contract jobs, I mean, there's no on-off. It's like I've got some gigs. I have more gigs, I don't have 0 gigs, so how are they going to judge that?
I don't know. Yeah. I guess we'll see.
I'm just speaking.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's been the question all week when the bill was going through, and there was a big article about it on the New York Times. I feel like 3 people messaged me about it, and I'm like, I don't know the answer.
Yeah,
I don't see any information on how to get an answer.
Yeah, I know with this bill, it's the biggest bill in history, $1.5 trillion. They were really some people who were really trying to make sure that all the money just didn't go to large corporations. So I think this is one of the things they're trying to help normal Main Street people. So we're Main Street.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Okay. Scavenger of the week. So we bought stuff online at an auction. Yep. I went and picked it up. I brought it home. Yeah. It was 4 pretty big boxes, and I bought junk lots.
Yeah, for sure.
Where I didn't get to preview anything. Yeah. There were 3 pictures of the same exact angle. So you're trying to look and be like, what's that underneath there?
What could that possibly be?
But you know what? I spent $100 for all this stuff, so it was a cheap buy-in. How do you think I did well? That stuff we got?
I don't know. I haven't researched any of it. There's a couple of things in sort of the junk box. They're all junk boxes, but some of them were periodicals. I haven't, my office is a complete nightmare of a mess because you dropped the boxes and started going through them in the middle of my office. So that's awesome. Thanks for doing that. So I don't know. There's a couple high-end vintage perfumes in there that were cool. Yep. There's definitely stuff that I need to
doodads.
Probably throw in the garbage.
Yeah. We definitely didn't make a pile of this is probably garbage. But
yeah.
I did get boxes of these old magazines.
Yeah.
These Popular Electronics magazines from the 20s.
Yes.
30s,
it's very cool.
40s, and 50s.
They're very cool.
Complete sets. They aren't in the best shape. Like it's not like this is brand new. You know? But it's definitely cool. I don't know. I did some searching before I bought them, and people buy them. You know,
I think they're neat.
Yeah. Like it kind of shows you the history of like electronics.
It's
like,
cool.
Like when like in the 20s people were actually fooling around with television. Like
like one of them was talking about like
build your own television.
Build your own like television antenna receiver, and I'm like, what year was this? Because I didn't even think TV existed in 1928. You know, I'm pretty sure it was the 20s. Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of fascinating. So I mean I think that it was a good buy. Like, I think it was worth it.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
He hands the microphone to me. But, yeah, we just have to look through it and figure it out.
Customer issues. So we got a negative feedback this week. And, I mean, let's just go through this for anyone that is new to eBay. I mean, this is just kind of like the way it works. We had a buyer give us negative feedback. They never message us. They didn't ask for a return.
Or a refund.
Just radio silence. They just gave us a negative feedback, and they just said it was more a vintage than she expected. Right. So it's kind of a nebulous comment.
So you're like, I guess you want to keep it because you're not returning it.
And so what can we do? Well, we've done this enough to where we know if you call eBay, they'll just say two things. They'll say, reach out to the buyer and try and work something out.
Offer a return.
And offer a return. The buyer probably won't do a return. And we've never had success in getting the buyer to revert their feedback. Mm-mm. And even if we do those things and then we contact eBay and be like, all right, we reach out to them. They didn't say anything. They don't want anything. eBay will just say, well, that's just their opinion. And
exactly. That's their opinion.
So we now have a negative feedback on our thing for 12 months.
I can respond. I don't like to respond right away because once you respond, they won't remove it, which is really stupid.
Right.
So I might try to get it taken. Like I always try anyway. But I know what they're going to say. They're going to say what you said. Reach out, have them open a return. If they don't return it, then you can possibly get it removed.
But normally they just say, well, that's just their opinion.
Exactly.
So when are the parts where eBay will take it away?
So if someone opens a return and you refund them the money or they don't return the item, you can get feedback removed.
So they have to actually trigger a return. Okay.
They have to open
Not that they have an option. So, I mean, all of our buyers have an option to return. They have to trigger it. Okay.
That's what's so annoying. You're like, I will pay for you to return this item for a month. And you left me a negative, like, it's just, or a partial refund or whatever, you know? But they don't give you, cranky buyers. And it's like, she just wants to keep it. So it's weird.
She's just.
Yeah. You're like, okay, the cranky buyer.
Anyway.
You would think for that situation, at least a neutral.
Right.
I want to keep it. It's more vintage than I thought. I'm a little disappointed. Neutral.
Right.
Nope. Negative.
So the reason why we just mentioned that is because I know especially newer sellers really get wrapped up in a ball over like, this is a black mark on their reputation. Yeah. I mean, for us, I don't think we've gone a whole 12 months and not had at least one negative feedback on our record. It just seems like it's just as soon as one drops off, we get another one.
Yeah, it always happens.
And the thing is, as long as we don't have like a million of them, or there isn't like a consistent pattern where like we keep getting negatives because we're doing something that's making all these people upset. Yeah. It's just something you just have to deal with.
Well, somebody returned an item the other day because similar situation where he was like, this is more worn than I thought. It's a vintage item. And he opened a return, got a refund and left a negative feedback, and they removed that. I actually didn't even have to ask them to. They removed that. So that's a situation where he was refunded, he sent it back, he had tracking, blah, blah, blah.
Oh yeah, things we learned in the forum. Yeah, everyone's just kind of talking about the stuff they're selling.
Yep.
How they're doing.
Yep.
just life in the times of...
I'm glad people are talking on the forum. When the forum is slow, I get a little lonely these days. I'm like, come on, does anybody have any questions?
Right. Oh, wow, Ryan, because normally I'm the one that's always...
Well, normally I'm like so crazy busy with stuff, and now I'm like, I am busy now too, but it's nice to have that connection. You know, you're like... We saw some neighbors. We walked by some neighbors the other day at a distance, and it was funny, like seeing people. You're like, "Hi, people, real people." You know, that is it for the podcast this week. What did you cook this week, Jay?
Oh, that's right. We forgot that. Someone was like, "We wouldn't know what you cooked."
We cooked a lot of stuff this week.
My whole jam was tacos. I fried some chicken, made some black beans. Some fried cabbage.
You had jalapenos?
With cheese and jalapenos. I know people probably aren't into the cabbage, but cabbage is such a good vegetable. It lasts in the fridge for a really long time. It's got good like mouthfeel and texture.
It's got crunch.
And just basically tastes like it's whatever you're cooking with. And then I had corn tortillas and just like it was great.
Brought to you by the Cabbage Association of the United States.
And then Ryan, what you're doing?
I baked bread.
Right. No knead bread.
Right. I generally do not eat bread. I did have some this week, but I mostly made it for you because Walmart was wiped out of bread.
If you Google no knead, KNEAD bread, there's like a recipe.
It's like pretty famous.
And it's great because you just mix up all the ingredients, put it in a pot.
Let it rise for like 10 hours.
And then you bake it. And
it's like, so easy.
And then it looks like...
It's delicious.
A magazine loaf of bread, and anyone who is living in your house will think you're just incredible. And you can sit there and eat the whole loaf of bread,
which you shouldn't do
in one sitting.
It's delicious. So I have been making bread back after 2008 like crash. I made bread all the time. Right. We would buy 50 pounds worth of flour.
I think we gained about 30 pounds each.
Yeah, I mean, because it's so delicious. So I've been making that. I made this like creamy tomato soup in the Instant Pot. It's like, if you just Google creamy tomato soup Instant Pot, it is the easiest, cheapest, most delicious recipe. It's awesome. I made it twice.
Like canned peeled
it's any kind of canned tomatoes.
And then a lot of cream. That's really
I actually didn't even put cream in the last batch. I put butter.
Oh, yeah.
But it was still delicious. You can put cream in it
so
after.
So it's that creamy, tangy.
It's so good. So anyway, that it was like bread and soup, and I think you made hamburgers a couple of times.
Yep, I made fresh hamburgers
so good.
In the pan.
That's what we had for breakfast.
Hamburgers for breakfast.
My sister texted me this morning because she has an Instant Pot. I actually bought it for her for a present a couple of years ago because I was like, be frugal, make stuff in the Instant Pot. And she made yogurt in the Instant Pot, and it was funny because I had just made yogurt in the Instant Pot.
So did you.
It's so easy. Also, if you Google it, Instant Pot yogurt.
Just like a quart of milk and then just like a scoop of
I use half a gallon.
Yogurt. Okay. Yeah. And then a scoop of just yogurt.
Yeah.
And then
there's more to it than that. There's more to it.
And that's all.
You got to boil it at 180 and stuff. But it's also great because half a gallon of milk to a gallon of yogurt. It's a lot of yogurt. But half a gallon of milk is cheaper than buying like a little thing of yogurt.
So does Instant Pot help because it tells you what 180 degrees is?
Yeah, the yogurt setting, it allows you to boil in quotes. It gets up to 180, and it should stop at 180 because it has a temperature sensor. I have a little thermometer that tells me if it got that high. And then what you do is once it gets up to 180, you bring it down to 110, you put the yogurt in, and then you let it sit basically for 12 hours, like overnight. I do it overnight. And you put it on the yogurt setting, and it keeps it warm. And then you open it up in the morning, and it's good to go.
That one spoonful of a yogurt infects...
with the bacteria.
Like a virus,
Yogurt virus.
The whole half gallon of milk.
It's awesome.
It turns the whole thing into yogurt.
It's just, honestly, it's cheaper. Like, it's cheaper to make your own yogurt.
I guess my thing is, I think it's so cool. I'm a big fan.
You better eat it.
It's just like, it's a lot of yogurt.
But I've been eating yogurt.
Can you eat a half a gallon of yogurt?
I've been eating yogurt once or twice a day lately as like a snack. So
good. Yogurt in our house, our rule is You can buy anything you want.
You gotta use it.
You can cook anything you want. You just gotta eat it. That's all.
If you don't eat it, Jay puts it in the compost.
Right. You just gotta eat it. Okay, that's it for this week. Thanks for being here.
We hope you're all doing well.
Stay safe, everyone.
Wash your hands.
Sell trash, be free. This podcast is ending in 3, 2, 1.
Bye.